Hello, welcome to Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today we have the pleasure of having with us Pamela Jones from the Iconic Group. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I had a chance to talk to you on the phone. It's the first time I've heard about your company, and it was quite a unique concept that you have. Can you give us an overview of what your company does?
Yes, the Iconic Group is an innovations agency, and we focus on building brands through brand acknowledgement, brand building with digital entities, and also through advertising. The Iconic Group stands for Integrating Consistent Opportunity Using Nostalgia, Innovation, and Cultivation, and I merge that tagline with every client that I work with. Wow,
that's quite an acronym there.
Yes, and then
I didn't know that part.
Yes. It's just about bringing in certain characteristics inside of the brand. Nostalgia is important because I have to know the backstory of why you built your business. Integration and consistency is important because that's how you continue to market the brand, and that's how we continue to integrate in the community, which overall you'll be able to work nationwide, hopefully to get you worldwide. So the idea of being iconic is really setting the bar for your entire market and getting people to follow you as a leader.
So this isn't something that's just for large businesses. This is for small businesses as well?
Absolutely. The Iconic Group is capable of working with personalities, celebrities, nonprofits, anyone that considers themselves a brand and takes their brand serious. The Iconic Group is able to work with you, build your brand story, and actually your storyline is how people start to believe you. They start to believe your buy-in. They start to believe your consistency because your story is original and can't be recreated by anyone else.
Well, that's like this particular venture that we're doing, Hampton Roads Business Live, is giving people an opportunity to tell their story that they don't normally have. And so it's a good way to get that story out there.
Absolutely.
So how can you help people innovate and tell their story then? How do you do that?
Well, that's the nostalgic portion about it, and that's why it was important to add that into my tagline. I spend hours with my clients, and my focus is not just through consultative questions, but really getting to know their drive and their passion as to why they started their business. We in the brand world call this brand DNA, and sometimes you have to pump that DNA back into them, whether it's they started their business and they've had a couple of hiccups along the way, or they're too worried about their services and they're missing the PR or the marketing portion. My job is to come in and recreate this brand DNA and really get you activated about your passions once again. So there's nothing better than me hearing your story, taking those key ingredients that actually captivated you to start your business in the first place and getting that back into your branding and marketing, which is the best way to get people to believe you, create that buy-in, gets you and your employees excited about working once again, and gets you that vacation or that paycheck that you rightfully deserve.
It helps boost the trust level.
Oh yeah, credibility and trust is ultimately important. And anyone that has a business with blood, sweat, and tears that it is with entrepreneurship, yes, let's make sure that your credibility is top of the line.
Right. Now, I had a chance to ask you about your background before, and it's quite extensive. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes.
Because you just didn't fall off a truck here. I mean, yeah, you've been in this business a long time.
I have. I graduated from Norfolk State University, television production major, and from that point on, my professors granted me the idea to take it further than Hampton Roads. I did my first trip to New York in 2006, and I was just astounded by the energy there and how many opportunities were there if you have the right frame of mind and the right passion to go for your dreams. So I'm from Portsmouth, Virginia, and I love my city. However, to be in Manhattan and to see MTV across the street was just like, wow, I grew up watching them. So that little seed that was planted, I was on TRL 2 days in a row. One day was with Britney Spears, the next day I met Beyonce. And I danced during commercial break because I am a dancer with the Hot Ice Dance team at Norfolk State University, alumni. And I danced during commercial break, and then they invited me back to meet Beyonce the next day, and that's when I knew that I had a niche for creating my own path, and people around me could feel that as well. From that point on, I interned at MTV in television production, and then I interned at publicity at Sony Columbia Records. I was the first intern at Sony to actually create an intern mixer, because a lot of us was just scared to talk to each other. You have celebrities and musicians walking around daily. You have top music execs walking around. And I said, well, why is it that we're all so rigid towards each other and no one's really talking? So I created the first intern mixer. Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's father, spoke for an hour, and we had all these great treats and sodas, and it was in the Gold Room at the Sony building. And it's just knowing that you have a niche to create things that people may not have thought of. With that, why can't you be iconic? So again, I worked at the Virginian Pilot in the legals department. I've worked at WTVZ as a television account executive, and that's when I really realized that a lot of the clients that I was working with did not have any storyline appeal. They just knew that they spent money on these television commercials and they wanted their phone to ring. And that was pretty much it. So if you have a brand and you can captivate that brand and you can get people to see that storyline that you're putting out and you're actually true to your services, then your television commercial will actually work for you.
So I think you just answered my next question, which was how are you different from an ad agency or a PR firm that you would typically say? So I think you kind of covered that. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, you know, I love PR and what public relations agencies does. Hampton Roads is a very different market. With me working in New York and doing work in DC, I know the severity of having public relations. So I'm never pushing PR agencies to a point where you do not need to use them. However, what people need to understand is that your brand has to start before you go get a PR agency. And that is why I'm here. I want to fill this void in the Hampton Roads market of people not using their brand culture the way that they should.
Okay. All right. Well, that's something that it sounds like we need here.
We do.
All right. So what trends are you looking at happening here in 2015 that business owners need to take advantage of?
Oh my gosh, it's so many different trends that's happening, and
it's amazing.
Technology. I know we just talked about it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, but you were trying to bring me up on. I
tried to sell you on it.
You tried to sell me on a couple of things that I just I'm not opposed to them. I just don't personally use them. And I think we were just talking about texting so much.
Right.
I just was watching how fast.
I'm a warrior on the cell phone.
I went, wow. I mean, it's like.
I am a warrior on the cell phone.
90 words a minute or
I know. But the thing is, and that's why I created this business, because take your services that you offer. If I gently show you a way that you can make one process easier to take away an hour out of your day, wouldn't that be helpful?
Well, sure.
And that's the simple point, and that's just the opportunity that I want with a lot of businesses, because a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of businesses in the area are not perennial to change. So what I would like to do is just come in and work those innovations. 2015 is a very powerful time. Like I said earlier, I like to do my work on a tablet. I like for all of my processes and strategies to be on my cloud. All of my payments, all of my templates, whether my pitches, my proposals, I like to keep them in-house. That is what an innovations agency does. Going into 2015, I would like for people to think that way. I would like for people to know that there's plenty of apps, free apps out there that can change your life. There's plenty of digital advertising that is extremely powerful, whether you're doing advertising or whether you're creating social media components. Designing doesn't have to stay what it was 15 years ago. A logo can change, and you can add certain characteristics to all of your designing spectrums, and your website can change. And it's about creating these touch points that will ultimately change your brand, and everyone wants their brand to go along with the times. Everyone wants their brand to survive.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, what that leads to the next question, which you mentioned social media tools. So what are your favorite ones that you recommend or use?
Right now, I am so intoxicated with a website named Canva.com, CANVA.com. A lot of people are using social media to promote their services, and not even just their services. You can do events online. You can do live events. You can stream online. I mean, you can pretty much capture anything with your actual cell phone, which is your own media device. Take that, add in some digital designing entities, mix those together, and you've actually created a package that most PR agencies will pay thousands of dollars for, that you will have to pay PR agencies thousands of dollars for. And for me, knowing that you have the power to create your own publicity, your own promotion, and work your marketing is something that is more of a knowledge tool that I like to give my clients. Again, that creative storyline is something that we do, but once you merge the two, how powerful will the entrepreneur be? And overall will help the Hampton Roads market. So those are, Canva.com is one thing I like to use. PicMonkey is another website that I like to use. I have a website, it's an app called Rana's Design, and it is an amazing tool to use to promote yourself. Of course, social media. I'm falling in love with Google+, and it's been out for a while, but I'm starting to feel the power of working with Google.
You're the first person I've heard say that. I mean, we post for clients and things on Google, and we do Facebook and Twitter and all, but I got to tell you that I'd say 90% of the people we talk to don't use Google+. Well, and Google's had a heck of a time
promoting
Facebook.
it. But here's the deal. The more that you feed into Google, the more Google will feed into you. What people need to understand is they have the popular search engine optimization. That's something that you need to take seriously.
I know the importance of it. That's why we get our clients to do it.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying as a psychological point. And that's just what I found is that Google's having a real barrier of getting people to understand
how it operates.
Right. And
exactly.
They're as big as they are, they need someone like you to tell the story because they're lousy at telling it. I mean, you know,
Google is having a really rough time with understanding how Google Plus should operate for small businesses.
Yeah, and they keep changing things. And
they do keep changing.
And it messes people up. They think they got it, and then they go.
You know what, Rory? It's very true, and I'd have to agree with you. Google Plus, LinkedIn, and even Facebook and Twitter just made some changes for businesses. Things are constantly developing new platforms, and you know you wanna keep the energy up as a small business. You want to keep the energy up, but LinkedIn, for example, now has showcase pages. They have a showcase page. You can have an actual landing page, and then you actually have your profile. These are all tools to use, but my gosh, how do you keep up? Right. One thing that I have to keep top of mind, and I need my clients to understand, is that the more you feed Google, the more Google will feed you. You can you can have an advertising campaign with AdWords and AdSense for thousands of dollars, and you think you're going to be at top of the bar. That's not how it works. If people see and want to Google you, you will in turn be at the top of the ranks, no matter how much your competition paid to beat you out. And that's something that people need to keep at the top of mind. YouTube, Google+, all of those Google applications will eventually benefit your brand in the long run.
Right, well, social signals that Google pays attention
exactly,
to.
Exactly.
And we do SEO, and so we're well aware of those things, and I try to educate the clients on the importance of doing that. And they all work together. And of course, I know from business owners, the first thing you hear is, "I don't have time to do all this stuff. I just can't keep up with it." You
exactly.
know? And
it's very they're frustrated and overwhelmed.
Right, and so you hear a lot of that. Okay, so I hear a lot of that.
That's the story of my life. Yes.
Okay, I'm sure you hear it. Okay, so. My next question here was, how can Hampton Roads change its creative landscape? And you probably already addressed that too.
You keep
jumping in on my question.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. But
it's been very interesting.
Thank you, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you having the interest in asking me those questions. The energy is good, and that's the conversation that needs to be had. I'll go ahead and say that there's some confrontation that needs to be had with understanding how Hampton Roads can have this shift. I just read in Inside Business, I believe it was posted on the 14th on this website. Inside Business had this panel discussion with why the Hampton Roads economy is not doing well. I believe they said that we were perennial with Detroit. Didn't Detroit go bankrupt?
Yeah, it's been bankrupt.
That doesn't sound good to me. That doesn't sound like the Hampton Roads that I know. So to me, that means that we have been focused on the military. We have been focused on defense mechanisms. We have been focused on a lot of industries that do well for our economy. However, that is not the only industries that Hampton Roads has to offer. Right. Why don't we start to deliver a brand culture to these small businesses and give them survival tools? That's what the Iconic Group is for. And so Hampton Roads, I'm passionate about developing entrepreneurs and making sure that they understand the importance of branding and marketing and successful advertising as a tool of knowledge and also as a tool of purpose for them to be activated and start changing the way that they see their business. That'll overall change the fact that we're equal with a city that is bankrupt.
Okay, well, I hadn't actually heard we were bankrupt, but I
well,
know we're not
equal to a city that is bankrupt.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not.
We can always be doing better.
Yeah, we can always be doing. Why not be the best?
All right. So, are you doing anything in the local area, event-wise?
I am. I create constantly, and I'm trying to fill in a void. Almost every single day, it feels like, when I see something that needs to be worked. As of right now, I am building a program called Find Your Wings. And Find Your Wings is for the youth. And it's built on making sure that K through 12 students understand that their personal brand is extremely important, just as important as the resume, just as important as getting those hundreds on their test and making sure that they go to college. It's really about, the Find Your Wings programs is about me telling the students, stop posting on Facebook. Let's put Instagram to the side right now. Why don't we work on your resume? Let's talk about how to interview. Let's talk about the personalities that you'll have to deal with that they don't teach you in school. Let's talk about how to build your work ethic. Let's talk about your personal brand and how to set your personal brand away and aside from people that you may not want to be involved with. Those are things that I had to learn. This isn't something that I'm just like, oh, let's just go inside these classrooms and just speak on things that I've already perfected. Absolutely not. My professors will tell you at Norfolk State University that I had to make tons of changes. They tell me all the time how proud they are of me. I didn't come in with this notion already that, or this change that my brand is important. I had to learn. And so I would like to do the justice to Hampton Roads students and to their parents of teaching them how they can make their personal brand a success.
Right, and you mentioned several things in there that I agree with, and one of them is personal responsibility, and you may have a personal brand, but you can always learn, and you have to make it work within the workplace.
Absolutely.
That when you go and get a job, they don't owe you a living. I mean, you have to work within that framework, and I think that's really important today, because I just see a lot of people thinking that, you know, they you know, here I am, hire me, you know.
Exactly.
And it's like getting a participation trophy or something.
Exactly.
You just show up.
And that's not how it works.
And that's not how the real world works. And I think we've lost that. And that's my personal opinion. But
no, you know, I'm glad.
Life doesn't go that way. You know?
It doesn't.
And you're going to be so disappointed when you get out there and you show up and you don't get the trophy.
Exactly.
You know, you're going to go, what? I'm here. You go, yeah, but there's more to it.
It's more to it. And I learned those specific notions when I worked at CBS, and that was a wonderful experience for me. My managers were amazing, and I still keep in contact with them to this day. They're like big sisters to me. When I left Portsmouth to move to New York, working at CBS, and I was like, what in the world did I just do? I loved what I was doing. I was good at what I did. However, it was a bit of a culture shock. I needed to understand people from different backgrounds. New York is a melting pot. I never met people as authentic as New Yorkers, and that moved with the punches, that you ask questions and you just keep it moving. There's no time to think about it. There's no time to perfect it. You don't go home at night and get a week and then come back. You need to keep it going. And so those notions were something that I wanted to build inside of the Iconic Group and make sure it was in the Find Your Wings program. I also have a workshop that I'm doing for women called Brand Babes. #BrandBabes. And it is a workshop. It's called Brilliance, Beauty, and Branding. And it is a leadership, marketing, and branding workshop to build personal brands for women. And that is going to be in February.
So what do you do with all your spare time? You're one busy lady. Gee whiz. I thought I was busy.
That was a good question. Okay. I play with my son. I stay home, try to get sleep.
Okay. You try to get sleep. That sounds like
that's not working too well.
All right. Why should one want to #be iconic?
One should want to be iconic simply because one should always want to be distinctive. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone wants to be exactly like someone else. And if you do, then you shouldn't want to be iconic. Yeah. I have nothing for you.
We're all different.
We're all different. And how dare you try to be like anyone else?
Well, that's what makes the country so great, is everybody's so different. I mean, you know, we're not all the same. We don't have the same desires and same wants and everything.
And it's really an empowering tool. Be Iconic isn't necessarily just being a client with the Iconic Group. I would like everyone to have a mind state of separating yourself from everyone else and going after your dreams and your passions. It's difficult out here. Job market isn't doing so well. And if you have a dream to be an entrepreneur, if you have a dream to be a full-time mom, if you have a dream to develop that business or that company or just start a nonprofit, whatever it is, then why not be iconic and go for it? I guarantee you'll beat out the people that's just simply sitting there thinking about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. It all starts with what your passion is and what you put into it. So I
and just
totally
letting
agree
that
with
fear go.
All right, so how can people, I know they could go to your website, and that contact information for your things will be on the page and all, but if they're going to become a client or they're interested in that, do they talk to you and then you do a consultation with them? How does that work?
Yes,
that's not one of your questions here, but
no.
I think that would be good, because I think you're going to have some people that would want to know.
Absolutely. You can reach me at PRJones at brandmeiconic.com. The website is www.brandmeiconic.com. And you can reach me through that email, PRJones at brandmeiconic.com. My contact number is 757-550-1855. Social media, you can find me on Facebook under Brand.
Those links are going to be
okay, because I was like, do you want me to go?
We'll be here all day on all that social media stuff.
That's true.
But what I was asking is, do people call and do a consultation with you?
Absolutely.
Is that what they do? Okay.
We can do a consultation in person. We can do a consultation over the phone. We can Skype and do a consultation. I'm capable of doing, it'll probably be about an hour and a half, 2 hours of me getting to know your business, getting to know your vision and what you want to do. I like to develop a timeline, and I like to look at it as I give you this strategy, which we go into initiation phase, and then we'll create a calendar of how we can get these things done. The Iconic Group always holds itself accountable for the success of your campaigns. And with that said, I take it very serious that there are some results. I work with my clients to be sure that we meet what they need to do.
Okay, all right. Well, this has really been fascinating.
Thank you.
I know that we have well over 100, approach 200 now, of clients on Hampton Roads Business Live already, and expecting to probably exceed 300 next year.
Absolutely.
And all of the businesses could, benefit from telling their story and finding better ways to do that.
Yes.
And you sound like you have your finger on the pulse of technology.
I do.
So. If you own a small business, or you're thinking of starting a business and you'd like some guidance, then you can call Pamela at the Iconic Group. The contact information to get hold of her through a number of ways are at the bottom of this page, and the phone number is at the end of this video. And give her a call, and she can set up a consultation with you, and I'm sure it will be enlightening.
Absolutely.
I thank you very much for coming in. It was a
pleasure
talking with you today, and I wish you a great deal of success.
Thank you so much, Rory.
All right.